Hey guys, so we have a really good question that came in. The question is this: after God judges the world, will he start over and make new life? And so I think we can find the answer to that in Revelation chapter 20, which is really speaking of the judgment of God. It's called the Great White Throne Judgment, and kind of the final judgment that God brings upon Satan and people who have rejected Jesus. And then going into chapter 21 of Revelation, it talks about the newness of God making all things new. And so I'd encourage you to read those two chapters because I'll give you some insight and context on this question. But I'll read a couple verses here. This is John speaking as he's received the vision and the revelation from God. He says this in Revelation 21, starting in verse 1. Now I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth have passed away. Also there is no more sea. So in this verse we see the old is gone. God has created something entirely new, a new heaven, a new earth. And then in verse 2 it says that John saw a new city, a new Jerusalem, a holy city coming down from heaven. And so the new Jerusalem, which really represents the presence of God. But then in verse 3, this is where I think it answers the question: after God makes everything new, is he going to make new life in this? And I think the answer is no, because it says here in verse 3, I heard a loud voice from heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them. They shall be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God. And so it's speaking of people who have put their faith in Jesus Christ. This is really a picture of what we think is heaven. And these people, these believers are now with God. It says the tabernacle of God is with them. The tabernacle represents the presence of God. And that he'll dwell with them, he'll be with them. And these people will make God and acknowledge God as their God. And so I believe this is speaking, I know this is speaking of eternity for believers. And so these people here, I hope it's going to be you. It's speaking of our future as we believe in Jesus Christ. If you put your faith in Jesus, this can be a promise for us. But it says that God will be with them. And so I don't think God's creating new life, but what he's doing is restoring and redeeming the lives of those who've put their faith in Jesus Christ. It's this bringing them into the eternity that he's purposed for them, that he's created for them. It says that he's going to wipe away the tears. There's going to be no more death, no more sorrow, no more pain. The former things have passed away. And so he's brought us into this restoration of completeness that Jesus Christ has for us as believers. And so this is a promise that you can hold on to, that even though the Bible says even though our outward man and our bodies are perishing, the inward man is being renewed day by day, and we have an eternity of newness looking forward to what God has for us in a world and in a heaven and an earth that is not touched by sin, but instead fully saturated by the presence of God. So read these chapters, get some more insights, and I hope that answers your question.